21st of November, Rabbi Furst, Pierke, Avos.
All right. Good morning again. As Lou said, this is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here at Yeshiva Tzalman here in time. Here on Zoom, we're in our first year in Pierke Avos, learning the fifth parak, the ostensibly the eighth Mishnah, Yasara Devarim, 10 things which created by Kadosh Baruch Hu Bein Hashmashos. Masturbation, learning about the rainbow. Keshes, we're in the Toldus Yitzhak, which is the commentary of Rav Yosef Cairo, the Mechaber of Shulchan Aruch on Chumash. Okay, Lou, if you let me share the screen, I'll put it on the screen as well.
Thank you.
Okay, you can share.
Okay, let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. We're now in the paragraph beginning Kudushi Maral. That's the one that's underlined there. Maybe I can put a arrow there to help you. Right here where the arrow is, the Chedushi Agudas Maral, more Rosh Hashanah. Okay. Okay. Who would like to read? Any volunteers?
I do.
Okay, Lou, you can begin.
Chidushe Agados, the Maharal, Rosh Hashanah, Perech Bet. So this is novelties in the Agada, the stories of the Talmud in Rosh Hashanah.
These are the Chedushim of the Moral Miprag on the Agodas of the Gemara, and he's dealing with this particular one in Rosh Hashanah.
Im Einan Makirin.
Okay, that you can. That's just the source material. You can go to the next line.
Meolam lo rasa chama bekule. I don't know what this word rasa is.
See, it was the sun never saw the Gimas Shel Kesis. That's he's dropping out a few words to make it easier for us. But the Gemara says, "Ma'olam lo rasa chama the Gimasa Shel Kesis." The sun never saw literally the blemish of the rainbow.
What's that mean?
That's the first question you have to. What does that mean?
What's a blemish?
So the Gemara also says that the sun never sees the P'ima Shel Lavana. The Gemara says that the sun never sees the blemish of the moon. So the moon and the rainbow have something in common. Anyone want to take a guess what the rainbow and the moon have in common?
They reflect the light of the sun.
And that's one thing, right?
The moon has phases, but I don't think a rainbow has phases.
Right, it doesn't have phases, but what the Gemara is referring to is something to do with the phases of the moon.
Mm-hmm.
That the moon is except when it's full, When it's new, it's in a crescent of one type or another. Although when it's waning, it's a crescent. When it's waxing, it's really not a crescent.
Hmm. So the rainbow is just half a crescent, half a circle.
Right, it's a half circle, right? Now,
You're saying the rainbow is like a crescent and the moon is like a crescent?
yes, to a certain respect, right? They're both shaped. They both have a crescent-type shape, right, like that, right? And
Mhm.
the Gima, what the Gemara is referring to is the inside of the crescent.
The what? So
The inside of the crescent. Let's put it this way: when you're looking at the moon,
half a gimmer,
right, you see the crescent of the moon, right?
right?
So you look at the crescent of the moon, the dark side of the moon, right? It's dark, and there's a lit side of the moon, which forms the crescent. The dark side of the moon is the unlit side of the moon that you really can't see. Sometimes you can see it, but
Yeah,
you can't really see it clearly, like the crescent of the moon.
right.
So the inside of the crescent, that's what we call, the Gemara calls the pegima, the blemish of the moon. Okay,
Okay.
so the rainbow, also since it's a crescent, so the inside of the crescent is called the pegima of the rainbow.
Okay. Some people mistakenly place a star or something like that in the gimmer of the moon, but you can't because it's a solid moon,
Right,
dark but solid, and you can't see through it.
right. Unless you're on the moon and you put some kind of a light on top on the surface of the moon, right? But where that pegima of the moon, that dark part of the moon, when it's in the crescent phase, that's called the pegima. So similarly, the rainbow, since it's in a bow shape, it has the inside of the curve, what I was talking about, the inside of the curve corresponds to the pegima of the moon. So in both cases, the sun never sees the pegima of the moon, nor did the sun ever see the pegima of the rainbow. And the Gemara is going to, the Gemara and the Maharal can explain the reason for that.
Okay. Now I have an asterisk here which points down two paragraphs.
Oh, yeah.
Should I skip that?
Let me see. Hold on. Okay, we can let's skip down to that. Let's try. We'll try and work on that first. He's talking about the keshes in general.
Okay.
Talking about what? Say it again.
Rainbow in general.
V'yesh lecha ledas ki nikra keshes ba'avur sodo shehu ro meiz al midas hadin. So it is known. It is known to you that the,
you should know. And
you,
there is
oh,
for to know.
you should know, that, the appearance of the rainbow, is because of a secret.
Well, it's not Nikra, it's called a keshes. Nikra, it's called, not that it's seen, but it's called a keshes. Why is the rainbow called a keshes? Okay, but Vur Sodo, because it's Sodo is not necessarily a secret. It could be like its basis or its foundation or its essence.
Because its essence is, I don't know what Romase is.
Its essence, Roymase, it indicates. Remez is like a hint. In Roymase, it indicates Al Midas Din.
The quality of justice. So the reason it's called a keshet is because its essence indicates the characteristic of judgment. Vahu Yadua, and it is known.
All right, well, put in, it helps to put the brackets in. Midas Din Shu Kasha. Kasha means it's difficult.
Oh,
It's,
kasha.
Yeah. So like Keshes, Kasha. Now she shares the two letters, Kuf Shin. So it's also giving an indication that there's something difficult here. There's something, as I said, there's Midas Din going on here.
Okay, and it is known.
Right, very good. But you do it. Who would you do? It's known.
Umipnei zeh hu os bris. Due to this, it is a sign of the covenant.
Right. That it means a din, meaning a bris, a covenant, is a very strict relationship. It's involatile, right? Can't break a bris. So it's, in that aspect, right, the fact that the keshes is indicating din, that's because of the fact that there's a bris involved here as well. Okay.
Okay. Ve'im hachama rota pigimas hakeshes hayu omrim ovdia gire hu Yorah. Okay, so if the sun, what is this? Rota?
No, if it would see, if the sun would see,
if the sun would see the blemish of the rainbow, it would say, what is Ovdia?
they would say, meaning the work of the worshippers of the sun would say
Giri hu yo re, I don't know.
So giri are arrows. And yora means to shoot.
If
Me-
the sun would see the blemish of the keshet, the worshippers of the sun would say it's shooting arrows.
Right, because why? We discussed this a little bit of last week, a few days ago. That just like the you have the bow and arrow, right? The bow and arrow, right? So when a person's shooting arrows, the bow is curved, right? Well, let's put it this way: the extremities of the bow are facing him, and the apex of the bow is facing his enemy, right?
Right.
So likewise, if the sun would see the pikimus of the rainbow, it would appear that who's shooting arrows at who? It would appear as if the sun is shooting arrows at the earth, right? Because the bow would be facing, the bow always faces the enemy, because you want to shoot the arrows at the enemy, right? So the way the bow, the rainbow, let's put it this way, the way the rainbow is situated in the sky is that the bow is facing away from the earth. It's facing towards the sun. I remember I mentioned it, like archers in war, if they want to surrender, right? So not everybody had white flags in those days, right? So if an archer wanted to surrender in war, how would you know he's willing to surrender? Like if he would, seems to me logical, if he would reverse his bow, right? If he reverse his bow, right, that would be a sign of surrender. So likewise here, Kadosh Baruch Hu created the rainbow, that the rainbow is facing the sun, the rainbow is not facing the earth. Because if it would be the rainbow facing the earth, it would be, as the Ramal is saying, the Oivdi Hama would say that the sun is shooting arrows at the earth. Understood?
And this is from the point of view of the sun worshippers.
Yes, that's right. From the point of view of the sun worshippers, exactly.
Okay. What is this abbreviation? Pay Yud.
Perish. Perish Giri. What's the explanation of that we're referring to arrows here? What does it mean that we're referring to arrows?
Klomar sheyesh ba koach poel din lish loach giri. As to say that there is in it a power to do something, to do justice, in sending the arrows.
Right. Meaning it's obviously as foolish as the sun worshippers are, right? But they don't really believe that the sun is actually shooting arrows at the earth. But it indicates, it's a remez, it's an indication it has the power to send arrows. I mean, it has power to send destructive forces.
Well, isn't that indeed the symbolism that we also take from the fact that it's pointed away, that Hashem is directing his anger away from us?
That's right. Yeah, right. True. Part of the symbolism that's going on here, right? Correct.
So
The sun,
if it was turned around, we also would think that it was an indication that Hashem is can inflict something upon us.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we're attributing we would attribute it to Kodesh Baruch Hu, where the sun worshippers would attribute it to the sun.
in actual fact, the sun does shoot at us the what do you call it? The solar flares,
Yes,
and that disrupts us.
yes, it does.
But
It's not
sort of a bit like arrows, I suppose. I don't
right,
know.
right, but it's not through the medium where it's not an indication through the rainbow, right?
No.
That's it's true that the sun can be, Hashem could have created the sun with great wisdom, that it gives us just the right amount of heat and light and all the other rays that come into the Earth's atmosphere, and we have just the right amount of protection from it all. And
Right.
so, that's all without the medium of the rainbow. We're trying to understand what the symbolism is of the rainbow, and why, as the Gemara says, the sun never sees the behemoths of the rainbow, meaning the bow of the rainbow is never pointed at the sun. It's always, let me put it this way: the bow of the rainbow is always pointed to the sun, never pointed away from the sun and at the earth.
Hmm.
Okay. Aval ein zeh kain ella hakeshes hu milchat hachama ve'ena mikoach hachama. But this is not so. Rather, the rainbow is what is milchat?
It's from the like the brilliance, the splendor, the light of the sun.
Rather, the rainbow is the brilliance of the sun, and not from the strength of the sun, or the power of the sun.
Right. It's not the rainbow is not dependent on the actual powers of the sun. It's based on the fact of the sunlight that's coming from the sun.
V'yadas ki hakeshes hu nikra keshes ba'avur sheyorim bo hachatzim. So it is known, since the rainbow is called the rainbow, due to Shayorim, I don't know.
Shirim bo hachitzim, that it's shooting arrows.
Shooting arrows. Vizahu mi poal midas hadin. And this is the an effect of the characteristic of justice.
Right. This is basically something you said before, that the word keshes is a reference to the rainbow, because it reflects the aspect of midas hadin, because a bow is used to shoot arrows, which is something which is destructive, which is something which is based on midas hadin. And likewise, the rainbow itself is something which has to do with the concepts of din, of justice.
Ulakach ena ro'eh pigimata shelo yomru ki zehu mikoach hachama. And therefore, we don't see that the arrows that are not not said, since this is the power of the sun.
Right. Rather, the kach enu roa pegimasa. Therefore, the sun doesn't have the bow facing away from it, right? Meaning the bow of the rainbow is always facing the sun. Slow yomusho shouldn't be said that this rainbow is coming from the koach of the sun, meaning this din, this justice is coming from the koach of the force of the might of the sun.
I'm not following that. It's because it's a bow.
Bye.
Bye.
Right.
Because it's a bow, we're saying it doesn't come from the power of the sun.
Yeah, since it's a bow, and a bow is something which is used to shoot arrows, right?
Yeah.
And the direction of the arrows are always away from the one who's shooting the bow, right? That's the whole point, right? The whole direction of the arrows is going away from the one who's shooting the bow.
Ah, I see.
So-
So since the bow is pointing towards the sun, it can't be that the sun is pulling it.
Right, because if the bow was facing away from the sun, right? So, as he said, those who worship the sun would mistakenly take this symbolism as a proof that the sun is causing the din, meaning, again, there's no actual arrows that are being shot when there's a rainbow, but it is a indication of midas hadin, right? So we shouldn't make a mistake and think that the midas hadin is emanating from the sun. No, that's false. Midas hadin does not emanate from the sun. So therefore, it's specifically created in a way where the bow is facing towards the sun, so that mistake couldn't be made.
Aval achshav teda ki ein ze mikoach hachama rak shehu mikoach halachat. But now we know that it's not the power of the sun, only the power of I forgot how hot, brilliance. Oh, only the power of the brilliance. Aval im haya pinei hachama al pigi masa shel keshet. But if it were the face of the sun,
Now, towards the Pigimus Akesha, meaning if the bow would be facing away from the sun.
But if the bow would be facing away from the sun, haya ki hachama sholeach chatzav al yidei hakeshes. Then it would be that the sun is the source, is sending. What is chatzav?
So the arrows
Is sending arrows by way of the bow. Ki keshes hu midas hadin, because the bow, the rainbow, it represents judgment. V'hachatzim hanishtalchim heim gezeras memhe. I don't know the memhe. It's a decree of somebody.
Maybe it's Mina Shemaim. I'm not sure. Heim Gezer is Mina Shemaim.
Oh, okay.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Since the rainbow it represents justice. What is for chatzim?
Arrows.
Arrows, okay. And the arrows, and what is this word, hanish talchim?
That are sent. Arrows that are sent. The keshes is midas adin, right? The arrows are the keshes is midas adin, and the arrows
are a decree from Hashem.
Right, and right, and the arrows would be the decrees sent from Hashem. All right. We need to go back to our original paragraph. We'll review this tomorrow, Mr. Hashem. Okay. I think we need a little bit review.
Yeah, I'd like to go over this whole paragraph we just read, and so I'm not clear how the beginning is related to the end.
Okay, sure.
Nor how it connects with the reference for it to go down to it.
Right.
Very good. We'll hopefully explain all those things. Okay, we'll take a little break in the meantime and start the Mr. Bruce here soon. And